My name is Erick Pinos. I run the Blockchain Education Network. I'm blockchain agnostic. You can tell because I'm wearing a Bitcoin.com shirt, Dogecoin socks, and I work at Ontology Network. We believe in open education, access to education. If there's a blockchain project that students want to learn about, they should be able to find those resources and judge for themselves which platforms they want to build on. And I think blockchain companies are in an interesting position because they're platforms, really, and people don't use platforms, they use products. So as a blockchain company or a blockchain project, a blockchain platform, you either have to now build the products yourselves, which means recruiting a giant developer team and then having those products, now each one of them being pushed out to the market, or you use third-party apps and you grow a developer community, and then you have people submit the apps to your app store and they all work on your platform. Both of these strategies, you're going to need a lot of developers either way, whether it's in your own team or whether it's community teams. And I believe that one of the best places to find them, or to find these developers, is at universities, because each year you have all of these students that are learning many, many different skills, and once they graduate, they all look for what they're going to do afterwards, whether it's starting their own company or going to go join a company. We start with some stats. The main stats that I'd like to share, Coinbase put out a report that student interest is growing. Blockchain education on campuses is growing. We have from 2018 to 2019, more students have taken a class, there's more students that have been exposed, and there's more student-run initiatives. So more universities are starting blockchain clubs on campuses. Even so, there's also more official classes. And with these official classes, right, now you have professors that are involved and you have professors that are teaching, and it creates a more formal education, and it consistently makes students feel like blockchain is becoming more and more of a viable career option. Right? A lot of it, in the early days, the idea of toying around with blockchain was very hobbyist and hobbyist-led projects, but now, with the interest in people doing blockchain-based projects as a career, I think that's one of the reasons why there's so much more interest now and why there's much more people putting in resources into this. One of which is the Blockchain Education Network. So talking about us for a bit, raise your hand if you are currently a student in the audience. Okay, raise your hand if you are a Ben student. All right. So see, that should be everyone, because we give students educational resources, content, we give them opportunities, internships, flights, Airbnbs to all of our partner conferences that we've built up over the past 6 years. For example, for this one, thank you to TNABC, thank you to Mo, thank you to Amy, Amanda, thank you to the Blockchain Center, to Erica, Scott, and Maria, and all of the partners that we've had to make this possible. What I mean when I say we make this possible, we have an Airbnb at the North American Bitcoin Conference where we're housing 14 Ben students for free that have come all over from the East Coast and one from Canada. We also, on top of that, we have 7 more students that live in Miami that have come to the conference. They're not staying at the Airbnb because they live here, but they were able to get their tickets through the Blockchain Education Network. And some of those students are even also volunteering, so they're helping make the conference possible. But every student is learning and going. They're all here today. They're going to the booths. They're learning from the booths, interacting with the people. And this is something that we do all over the place. So speaking of the relationships, you can see one of the pictures that we have on the left was from one of the earlier North American Bitcoin conferences where we had partners. There you have a class of OG Ben students lifting up Mo and holding it up for a photo. I think we should recreate that this year because we have enough students to do that. Last year we didn't have as many, but now we have enough. Coinvention, that was in Philly. We had a bunch of students there. We didn't have an Airbnb, but we helped students pay for their train tickets or their flights to get there. So we have all these students around the world. We have a big following, all these Twitter followers, the newsletter subscribers. We have startups that have come out of the network and students that have started companies from it, blockchain clubs on campuses, and we even have, all the stuff that we do with the communities. We do online meetups, offline meetups. The works with the partners that we have help us create all of these, financial aid, like flying them out, getting Airbnbs for them. We have different regional teams that work on this in different countries, because every country is unique, and we've had to adopt a different strategy for blockchain education depending on the country and the content. We have the content translated into different languages, and we work with the professors and work with the different universities that way. and all of the blockchain clubs. So these are all the guys that are doing like the real hard work on their campuses and doing the outreach and doing the workshops and the meetups and the lessons, and then telling their students about Ben and about Ben's opportunities and helping bring those students to these different things. So, well, strategies for engagement. So, because we have all of these clubs, we have all of these region teams, how do you engage with them? How do you engage with universities? How do you engage on campuses? There's many different ways of engagement, and nothing really groundbreaking. It's kind of what you would think. People do jobs fairs, internships, workshops, ambassador programs. All this is offline stuff. Online, there's some interesting stuff you can do with regards to workshops, again, and courses. But then there's also crypto-native ideas, which I think, yeah, we should use blockchain to teach blockchain. And that comes in the form of airdrops, running nodes, and having new crypto-based community rewards. So kind of breaking down the pros and cons of each of these, starting with the most straightforward one is offline workshops. So Ontology, we did a global workshop series. We're going around doing different workshops at universities. We're a blockchain platform. We also have a distributed identity solution, so we're really interested in having students hack on identity, which would include everything from making voting dApps to credit scores, decentralized credit scores, to giving people identity so they can access online financial services, to healthcare records, giving people their privacy and their data back. And we're not going to come up with all these solutions internally on our own. We want to empower the students to be able to build out these solutions. And the way that we chose to do that for this particular last quarter was going around and doing these workshops, because there's no replacing being there in person and being able to give the presentation, get the real-time feedback, and see from the students what they're interested in, what concepts are unclear, where they want to be involved, and then ultimately building that relationship with them. Obviously, the cons are that this is very expensive, so you have to go to each university that you want to do this in, and Skyping in doesn't really look that good. When you Skype in, there's always technical difficulties, and at the university, they're not. If you have a choice between someone a company that's willing to come in and speak to your students in person versus someone that's like, yeah, we'll just Skype in, which one is the club leader going to want to go with? They're going to want to go with the companies that seem to care more about the students and what they want to do. Yes, they're difficult to scale because there's a lot of travel. The other idea is campus ambassador program. So a lot of projects have started, be a representative for our company on your campus. And usually that involves engaging with the blockchain club on campus. So that's something that the Blockchain Education Network does for companies. So students have the opportunity to become, say, a Bynum teaching assistant or an Algorand teaching assistant. Those are two of our partners that we have. And when students volunteer to become that teaching assistant, they kind of create that content for those projects, and they kind of act as a mentorship and support for students that have questions about those projects. And it also looks really great for the student, because then they can take that experience and go to the company itself or get a full-time job after graduating, whether it's at that company or somewhere else. The cons with this is that it's always difficult to find volunteers to do that, especially when every project now wants to do campus ambassadorships. So you end up with like one student who's a campus ambassador for like 7 different projects, and now it's like there's a lot of conflicts. There's not a lot of time. There's not really that much time for them to do that much. So it's difficult to find volunteers to do that, and it's also difficult to scale because you have to find someone at every university, and yeah, that makes this kind of like a costly thing. So with Ben, because we have all of those connections with the universities already, we have no shortage of students that want to volunteer and get more involved with particular projects. We've kind of been able to make it work for our partners. We also, online workshops and curriculum. So this is a big one because this is global, and we have to focus a lot on that because it's much faster to reach a huge variety of people through online and through global meetups than it is through going to each university and actually like teaching there. So we kind of focus on that at Ben Global, like doing these online workshops, doing these online curriculum, and then the local chapters are the ones that do the meetups on their campuses. Right, the pros, yeah, instantly global, scalable. If you make a course online for the project or for the platform, that's going to be there. You can like use that all the time. You reuse it. Difficulties is that there's no face-to-face time. So it's all the problems of like Skype calls. It's like, yeah, you don't really know who the students are unless you let them opt in and share their video, and even then, it's never as good of an experience as it is actually being there in person. So that's why there should be like a mix of these different things. Okay, so now crypto ones, right? So airdrops. So these are pictures from the the Ben Fall Airdrop series in 2016, where we airdropped cryptocurrencies, we airdropped Bitcoin on many different university campuses. And that got students very interested because the airdrops that they gave, one, it was to the students, and then they also used some of the Bitcoin that they airdropped to fund club events or like financial aid, right? So like, okay, you get this airdrop, the idea is that you're gonna use it to come to a Ben event or come to a blockchain conference. So that's a good way to incentivize, it's a good way to recruit. It's actually how I got started because we had the MIT fall, or the MIT Bitcoin airdrop of 2014, where every MIT student got $100 worth of Bitcoin from the MIT Bitcoin Club. And I got the $100 worth of Bitcoin, and I was like, oh, what is this? Maybe I should try trading it. And so I tried trading it, and I lost it all. And then I was like, okay, maybe trading's not my thing, but hey, I hear you can build on it, so let me try building on it. And that's kind of like where I found like my area and like where I'm interested in. So definitely airdrops are a good way to get a lot of students interested in the project and kind of wonder like, oh, what is this cryptocurrency? What can I do with this cryptocurrency? Let me look more into it. Also, running nodes. So this is a newer idea, and this is interesting because there's a lot of different projects that are doing this. You help developer groups run nodes where you give them rewards. There's a lot of different projects now that are running nodes and using the rewards to fund that developer group. So for example, Shios, which creates scholarships for women in tech, and they use the node rewards that they get as an EOS block producer to fund those scholarship programs. EOS Venezuela, which does the same thing with the rewards that they make, they put that into the community, and they do like relief programs for Venezuelans and give them like these, help them onboard them into crypto, and they use the rewards to fund those things. Sesame Seed is another community. They are the largest Tron block producer and also one of Ontology's largest node runners. They give a token, they give the reward in seed token, which is pegged to the value of the rewards of both Tron and Ontology, and the community that gets it, they use it to vote, and they use it to vote on which initiatives Sesame Seed should take on. MovieBlock does the same thing. They airdrop MovieBlock token to all of the Ontology node runners, or the people who stake with the MovieBlock node as extra rewards. So giving these rewards to these communities helps them fund their community groups and their developer groups, and it helps them grow. And it's interesting because this is new, right? Like it makes all of these previously unsustainable communities now sustainable because they have a way of supporting themselves and a way of funding themselves that isn't just like a direct, we have to just pour money into it as at a loss for like ever, right? So now there's ways, new incentives that are aligned. And yeah, you could go out and do all of these things yourself. I think it's like really difficult because all of these clubs are getting emails all the time from companies that want to come speak on your campus, or hey, we would love to have the opportunity to just pitch your students and just tell us entirely about our project. It's like, it's more nuanced than that. It's about relationship building, and it's about what's the benefit to the student and both the benefit to the project. And like I said, with Ben, we prioritize hands-on learning experiences over just doing like presentations, just coming and just speaking on campuses. We want students to get involved. We have a new program called BenCoin, where students that complete the activities, the students that do events on their campus, the students that show that they're learning, earn the BenCoin, which they then use to get that flight or get that Airbnb, to get a spot at the Airbnb at the Ben partner conferences, or to get the conference ticket for that Ben Airbnb. So a student could self-fund themselves to be able to come to this conference, not by paying for it, but by showing that they're learning and that they're committed to the learning and that they will value the experience. Because we also have had, previously when we just gave it like on a need basis, we had a lot of students that came and they felt it was awesome, but they felt unprepared or underprepared, especially for the hackathons. It's like, it'd be great if we could have done like some Bitcoin 101 or Ethereum 101 before the hackathon, and then when we're brought to the hackathon, we'll already be more ready. So this program kind of does this whole thing. And then the customization, right, because each partnership is different, each project prioritizes different things, all the strategies that I mentioned, some are more focused like internally, some of them are more externally, some of them want to do the ambassadors, others want to do just online workshops. So we've taken an approach with each particular partner that we do what they're looking for, even if it's like just user testing with the students, and then kind of give those opportunities to the students and say, well, here are the different things that these projects are looking for. This is the way that you engage with this project, here's the way that you can engage with that project, run a node for this project, user test this feature for that project. It's really like customizable. So thank you. If there's any questions, you can come find me afterwards. You can email contact@blockchainedu.org, or you can come talk to us. Come talk to our students. They're here to meet you guys and get a lot of new opportunities. So awesome, thanks.